As we come to the end of the decade, I thought it would be a great time for me to jump on the bandwagon and share my top 10 games of the decade. But hopefully you'll see some unexpected titles in this list that you may not have played for yourself, and therefore will be encouraged to check some of these games out. I'll also be listing the games in order of release, as I just couldn't decide on a number one game. Before we get started, I just want to quickly go through a few honourable mentions for games that just missed out on my final top 10, starting with Halo 4, a great continuation of the Halo franchise in the hands of a new developer. Then next is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, a game that I have huge respect for in terms of how it reinvented the open world genre. And then Super Mario Odyssey, such a fun experience that keeps the flame alight for 3D platformers. Then Sonic Mania, what a fantastic tribute to retro Sonic games. And then Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, more than simply a game, this was an experience. And finally, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, one of the best Star Wars games for years, which might have made the top 10 had I had more time to play it. But now onto the top 10, starting with Mass Effect 2. When making this list, I was shocked to realise that this game came out this decade. Mass Effect 2 took what was great about Mass Effect 1 and simply took it to the next level. The graphics were better, the characters more developed, and the combat felt incredible. But above all of that, the fact that your decisions from the previous game carried over was mind-blowing and offered so much replayability. At number 9 we have Hotline Miami. This was perhaps the first indie game to really blow me away. The synthwave art style and music combined with the fast-paced action and surreal storyline created into one of the best games I've ever played. I played this game on the PS Vita, and what a game it was to have in your pocket. At number 8, it's The Last of Us. Not since Metal Gear Solid 3 had I cared this much about the characters of a game. This game is just a landmark in video game narrative, so much so that it rivals some of the best films out there. But it wasn't a playable movie like Heavy Rain. The gameplay was simple yet effective, but most of all it just felt grounded, no flashiness, just brutal and gritty realism. At number 7, it's Tearaway. This was the game that convinced me to pick up a PS Vita. The way it used every single hardware function of the PS Vita was astounding, like using the camera to include you as a godlike character in the game. On top of that, you have one of the most charming art styles I've ever seen. You just truly felt like you were part of this game, something that I had never felt before. Then at number 6, it's Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain. This game was an experience from the very first trailer, and despite the development issues between Kojima and Konami, which resulted in a lackluster second act, I just had an absolute blast with this game. I never thought Metal Gear could work in an open world landscape, but somehow it did. The stealth mechanics of this game are the best the genre has ever seen, and it will be a while before they're topped. At number 5, it's Overcooked. I had never played a family game which required this much attention before. Playing this game with my wife and friends were some of the greatest times I have had this decade. The sense of accomplishment you get when you work together and finally complete a really difficult level is like nothing else. The game is presented as a family game, but it doesn't insult its target audience by being easy. It offers simple mechanics in a difficult setting, which demands cooperation. At number 4, we have God of War. I had never really been into the God of War series up until this point, but playing as Kratos in this game, I could feel the dark and violent past of the character like I had played those previous games. The graphics in this game combined with the beautiful Norse setting, three-dimensional side characters, the development between Kratos and Atreus, the music, the list goes on. But above all of that for me was the combat system. Not only did the combat feel extremely kinetic, but it just had enough depth to offer different styles of combat without being overly complex. At number 3 is Octopath Traveler. When I saw the trailers for this game, I didn't think it was for me, but then I played the prologue demo and just had to buy it. I just fell in love with the classic turn-based combat of the game, along with the characters and their storylines, but most of all the music. Probably my favourite video game music of the decade, offering such variety and character to each area you visit in the game. At number 2, it's Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. In my teen years, I played Super Smash Bros. Melee so goddamn much. It's one of my fondest memories, and this game captures that same feeling perfectly. I just can't stop playing this game. It's easily the most hours I've ever put into a game. I love playing online, especially when I win, but I also hate losing matches as well. Yet no matter how many times I win or lose, I will never stop playing this game. It's that good of a fighting game. And finally, at number 1 is the Resident Evil 2 remake. This game surpassed any expectation I already had for the remake. Just like the remake of the first game, it honours what we loved about the original, but then adds so much more. It's not just a carbon copy with better graphics, it's an evolution of the original. But the best part of this game is that it returns to its survival horror roots. Long gone are the action-packed days of Resident Evil 5 and 6. The fans spoke and Capcom listened. Bring on the Resident Evil 3 remake. So there you have it, my top 10 games of the decade. Hopefully some surprises in there. But as always, I would love to hear about your top 10, so please comment below. Thanks for watching and see you next time.